Alphabet stock is falling because of what an Apple executive just testified under oath.
Google Search is facing its DVD moment.
It's DVD moment. But Jack, let's go back in a time machine for a second to, it feels like 12 years ago, but actually, let's just go back 3 years ago.
December 2022, 2.5 years ago, actually. Just days after ChatGPT launched, there were all a bunch of headlines about Google.
Here's one of them. New York Times, a new chatbot is a code red for Google's search business.
Here's one from Bloomberg. The chatbots are coming for Google.
And Jack, why 2.5 years ago was everyone freaking out already in the headlines?
Because AI chatbots are much better at answering your question than Google Search is.
That's right. The fear for Google is that people would switch their habits, and there's nothing a tech company wants more than your habits.
Their fear was that people would stop Googling and start chatting instead.
So Google went code red to defend its profit puppy, Google Search.
They eventually put AI summaries at the top of search results.
Now, besties, pause the pod for a sec, because until now, that strategy from Google has mostly worked.
After all, last quarter, Google had an all-time record high profit.
But 2.5 years after Google's code red moment, a bomb just dropped this week in court and it messed with Google stock.
Here's the news. Eddie Q, who is a high up at Apple, said this while testifying in Google's antitrust case.
This is some real page 6 tech stuff we're about to drop on you. Here we go. Apple is actively looking at changing default search on the iPhone. Wow, that is like finding out Brad Pitt cheated right there, Jack.
Now, for context, right now, Google pays Apple $20 billion every year to be the default search on the iPhone within the Safari browser.
But Apple might change that and make its default iPhone search a chatbot instead?
That's huge news.
Huge news.
And why would Apple do that? Because chatbots are a better experience.
I mean, to be honest, full disclosure, Yetis, Nick and Jack here. We've stopped Googling and we start our searches on chatbots.
When we remember.
It's true.
I mean, a lot of times we just instinctually go to Google, but when we remember, we go to ChatGPT or whatever chatbot we're using, and you get to your information quicker.
Because there are fewer ads, there's less internet slop, and you don't have to deal with as many links you got to wade through just to get your answer.
You can also do follow-up questions.
Right.
It remembers the first thing you asked, and it will add that to the second thing that you asked.
When we're jumping in T-Boy style to the latest Pepsi news about soda, and then we have a follow-up question about Coca-Cola's news, you can do all of it in one chat sequence.
And they understand both questions, so they'll add an even better answer.
So add all up, Yetis, and if Apple let ChatGPT become the default search on the iPhone,
then Google's code red just became code dead.
Sounds like the opener to a Spielberg movie, Jack. So what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Alphabet?
Google is facing its DVD moment.
Yetis, one of our favorite business stories is how Netflix pivoted to streaming.
Because remember, for 10 years, Netflix was a very successful DVD by mail business.
Just DVDs.
And then the streaming tech came along.
Okay, so what did Netflix do? Well, they put their entire DVD business into a separate physical building from the streaming business. They literally isolated them.
The streaming team was one day going to kill the DVD business. Netflix knew that. So they didn't want the streaming team to be emotionally susceptible to the DVD people if they were working right next door to them.
So Netflix killed its own DVD before another company could, and now Netflix is worth $500 billion. Never looked better.
Google faces the same situation now. Should they kill their own online search or wait until someone else kills it?
Besties, for 3 years, Google's pretty much done nothing, hoping that the chatbot hype dies.
But it's not dying. It's time for Google to direct its users to Gemini, Google's chatbot, before Google Search gets killed.
Many call this the innovator's dilemma, but we call it the DVD moment.